You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mo Kelly here. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and some of you out there need to stop lying. Just stop lying. If you say that you're going to leave the country if so-and-so wins and becomes president tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever it is, you're lying. You're straight up lying. That's number one. Number two, nobody gives a damn. If Stephen says to me, I'm leaving the country if RFK Jr. becomes president, you know what I would tell Stephen? And I like Stephen. Bye. Bye. If you're willing to pick up your whole life because someone became president, you're a fool. You are a fool. And honestly, the people who say that, they're full of it. And I'll give you two perfect examples on both sides of the coin. Now, you may not have heard of Le'Veon Bell, but he is a former NFL running back. Pretty good. He was a Pro Bowler. And he hasn't been known for his political commentary, but we're in an age in which politics, entertainment, and sports almost run directly parallel. And you see more and more celebrity endorsements, which include athlete endorsements. And Le'Veon Bell, who used to play with Tom Brady, that's relevant here, used to play with Tom Brady, I think it was in Tampa Bay. He has threatened to leave the country if Kamala Harris becomes president. Number one, Le'Veon Bell probably doesn't have the money to leave the country. Okay, even though he was a former NFL player, he has had serious troubles with child support. Okay, trying to pay his child support. He has 7 children with 6 different women. A lot of court cases, a lot of drama. But here's something else you may not know about Le'Veon Bell. And Stephen, I don't think you know this because you have like 25 children. So I thought, you may want to pay attention here. If you owe more than $2,500 of child support, you will not qualify for a passport. You will not get out of the country. So it's safe to say that Le'Veon Bell owes more than $2,500 in child support. Even if he wanted to leave the country, he would not be able to, unless he's going to walk across the border into Mexico or something. He's not getting out of the country, even if he wanted to, if Kamala Harris were to become president. So Le'Veon Bell, you just need to shut the hell up because you're not going anywhere regardless of who becomes president. That's the first one. Now, the other person I want to tell you about, you've probably heard of him. Michael Cohen has said on a number of occasions, most recently about 30 days ago, he said that he's going to leave the country and even change his name if necessary if Trump wins. He said it in a lot of different media outlets. He said it to Good Morning Britain. I'll play that for you. He more recently said it on MSNBC. This is Michael Cohen on Good Morning Britain.
Citizens, its prosecutors, its Congress members, he will exact revenge on anyone and everyone that he's capable of.
You would consider seeking asylum in a foreign country?
Absolutely.
Okay, here's the problem. And not unlike Le'Veon Bell, there is a legal component to this. And here's something else he said on MSNBC to give you some more context. He said this with Nicole Wallace. He said, quote, I'm out of here. I mean, I'm already working on a foreign passport with a completely different name. Is that legal? I don't think that it is. I'm not so sure that it is. And also, he is a felon under supervised release. So I'm guessing he has to check in with a probation or parole officer consistently, and you can't just up and leave the country. And if you announce that you're going to fabricate official documents so you can get out of the country, that probably will be an issue. But he's going on. He says, quote, I don't know how it's going to work as far as dealing with my wife and my children. I certainly don't want them moving to where I'm looking to go. So this fool is going to leave his wife and children if Donald Trump becomes president. He's going to fabricate or create some sort of foreign passport in a different name in the hopes of leaving the country, probably illegally because he's on supervised release, just in case Donald Trump becomes president. Now, I understand why he would be concerned because they're not tight like that anymore, and Donald Trump does have it in for him. I'm just trying to figure out how he actually gets out of the country. How do you get out of the country if you're already on supervised release and you're saying publicly that you're going to have to just, I don't know, go to some seedy shop in downtown LA and have someone create a passport photo and book for you? Can you really do that anymore?
It's not as easy as it was in the old Day of the Jackal days.
Or what was the name of the movie? I think it was the Replacement Killers. Yes.
Oh yeah, Chow Yun-fat.
Yes, that was one. They had a good passport creation scene. That's all I can describe it.
You can't just glue stuff together anymore. It's not like the old days.
No, you can't bring out the X-Acto knife and that's good enough. No, they're actually going to scan the passport. How do I know? Because I've traveled internationally, and they scan it, and it better come up with the right information, or people with guns show up and they make sure that you don't get past that TSA point. Unless he has some sort of, money to fly on a private jet. And even still, I think it's probably going to be an issue trying to get in the country. Where would you go? Oh, no, let me back up. Why would you leave your home? Not only is it cost prohibitive, what are you going to do? You're going to come back in 5 years? You're going to pick up your whole life, leave your family because some guy or some woman became president. They're lying. They're not going to do it. I wouldn't do it. I don't care who's president because, damn it, I got stuff to do here. Now, would it be uncomfortable? Might it be unpleasant? Might it be suboptimal? If your non-preferred choice became president? Sure. But I don't think Mark Ronald's just going to pick up and leave.
I got too much stuff.
Too much stuff, and it costs too much. You know how much it costs to move, especially on a whim? Never mind internationally. They're lying. Le'Veon Bell's not going anywhere. Michael Cohen's not going anywhere either. Partially for legal reasons preventing them, and partially because they're just full of ish. It sounds good, and I know your friends are probably saying, if Kamala Harris wins, this country's going to hell. I got to get out of here. Whatever, you're not going anywhere. You're staying right here with me. And if Donald Trump wins, you're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Mark Ronald's not going anywhere. Tuala's going to stay here. Stefan's not going anywhere. We're all going to stay right here and ride it out regardless of who becomes president. And since this is a travel discussion, if you are actually going to leave, it's not an airport. There is no need to announce your departure. Just go. Just go. If Mark doesn't show up for work on Wednesday, I'll know. He's just gone. He's not coming back. He didn't feel the need to tell me, and I'll be okay with that. I'm going to be here regardless.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app as we continue through music to celebrate the life and legacy of Quincy Jones, who passed away at the age of 91 yesterday. And I'll have my own personal anecdotes before the show is over. Also, as we continue this pre-election coverage, I wanted to go over these propositions. If you haven't already voted, like Mark Ronald, who turned in his ballot because he is a dutiful citizen, and you're still considering, let me just run them down for you very quickly, what they are and what they might mean. How you choose to vote is up to you. There's Proposition 2, and the bond measure would authorize the state to borrow $10 billion to modernize K-12 schools and community colleges. The funding could be used to repair outdated school buildings and to upgrade libraries, heating and cooling systems, and broadband internet. But you know how we are in California about education. We don't care about that. Proposition 3. This measure would remove outdated language in the state constitution that still defines marriage as between a man and woman, and instead replace it with a broader phrase, right to marry. While the constitutional clause is unenforceable and same-sex marriage remains federally protected. Proponents of the measure say it's necessary and a precaution in case of potential rulings from the Supreme Court. And that's Proposition 3. Proposition 4, the bond measure would authorize the state to borrow $10 billion to help fund the response to climate-related disasters such as drought, flooding, and extreme heat. It would also help to ensure clean drinking water. If approved, it will be the largest investment in combating climate change in California history. There's Proposition 5, and the measure would make it easier for local governments to approve bonds and tax measures that fund affordable housing and some public infrastructure. Prop 5 would lower the required vote threshold to approve those measures from 2/3 supermajority to just 55%. That's going to be interesting to follow because that has all sorts of implications going down the road for future measures. There's Proposition 6, and Prop 6 would ban involuntary servitude and end mandatory work requirements for state prisoners. The proposed constitutional amendment is part of a reparations package for descendants of African Americans enslaved in the U.S. There's Proposition 32, and that measure would increase California's hourly minimum wage from $16 to $18 and adjust it annually for inflation. This is something I talked about years ago. I said, if you're not going to tie the hourly minimum wage to the rate of inflation, you're going to have to keep fighting for a rate increase every single year, as opposed to tying it to the rate of inflation. The proposal comes after the state's politically powerful unions secured $25 an hour for healthcare workers and $20 an hour for fast food workers. And as cities, including West Hollywood, have moved ahead of the state minimum to $19.08 an hour. I am curious to see if this will pass. I have a feeling that it's not going to pass. I'd be surprised that it is. I don't have any inside information as to whether it would. I just think that certain propositions at this time in the mood of the state and also nationally on the heels of the recent rate hike for fast food workers, I don't know if this is going to be as well received. Could be wrong, but that's something I'm watching. There's Proposition 33, and this measure would allow cities and counties to enact rent control. And you know I'm watching this one closely. Proposition 33 would repeal a 1995 law called the Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act, which generally prohibits local governments from limiting rental rates as issued by landlords. Don't know if it's going to pass, but it's going to be real interesting to see if California as an aggregate will pass aside a third opportunity to try rent control. There's Proposition 34, and between 33 and 34, I've heard and seen the most ads. There's a lot of money spent on 33, 34, and 36. But 33 and 34 especially. Proposition 34 would require that healthcare providers spend most of the revenue they get from federal prescription drug discount programs on direct patient care. It would apply only to a very specific subset of doctors who have spent more than $100 million over a decade on anything other than direct patient care. And anything connected to, I'll say, big pharma, there's a lot of money behind the scenes trying to impact the result of that proposition vote. There's Prop 35, and that measure would provide permanent funding for Medi-Cal, California's version of Medicaid, of course, which pays for health services for low-income residents. Right now, a tax on managed health insurance plans that funds the program is set to expire in 2026. And there's Proposition 36. We've all heard plenty about that. And the measure, backed by law enforcement, would impose harsher sentences for drug possession and retail theft. It would turn some crimes involving fentanyl and repeated shoplifting that are currently misdemeanors into felonies. And also, Proposition 36 aims to roll back parts of Prop 47, which, if you're old enough to remember, recategorized some low-level offenses about a decade ago. And those are the propositions which are on the ballot. If you haven't already voted, you will be considering them tomorrow. Or I should say by tomorrow, if you're going to drop off your ballot like me, or actually go to the polls. And we will be commenting them, and we're giving you analysis all day tomorrow. John Cobelt will be in from 1 to 4 by himself, and then 4 to 6 p.m. with Tim Conway Jr., and then I will join Tim Conway Jr. from 6 to 8 p.m., and then I will take it over from 8 to 11 p.m. We will most likely get the results, or the projected results, of all these propositions, I'm suspecting tomorrow night, maybe some into early Wednesday. But if you keep it right here on KFI, we'll have all the information as it breaks between the KFI 24-hour newsroom and also our on-air personalities. You won't have to go anywhere.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mo Kelly, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And even though Election Day is not a national holiday, there are those who've argued, and I would agree with them, that it should be a national holiday so people don't have the impediment of work or other responsibilities getting in the way of possibly casting their vote. But presently, it's not a national holiday, but there are a lot of rewards and freebies out there just in case you want to take advantage of them. There are rideshare Election Day deals. In fact, Uber will have a bunch of promotions. All you have to do is click on the Go Vote tile in the Uber app. And Uber is offering riders 50% off trips to their polling place up to a value of $10. And the app also will help users find the nearest polling place. Uber Eats is offering 25% off orders up to $15, but with a $25 minimum. Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. Mark, did I read that right? Uber Eats is offering 25% off of orders up to $15, right? That's the first part.
I got it. Got that. Yeah.
But it says a $25 minimum.
I can see how people might be confused by that.
25% of orders up to $15, but you have to spend at least $25. So I don't know if you get the $25% off. Maybe you get 25% off the first $15, but you have to spend $25.
Also, doesn't everybody hate story problems?
My gosh.
Since grade school, come on.
I know. I was not good with the math problems, the word math problems.
What are you thinking, Uber Eats?
And the offer is available from 6 p.m. local time tomorrow to 7 a.m. local time on November 6th. So wherever you are, 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next day. Lyft also said that it's offering a 50% discount up to $10 on Election Day rides to the polls. And users can preload the ride code VOTE24 on or before November 5th. And car rental company Hertz is offering one free day when customers rent 2 or more days from October 21st to November 5th as part of its Drive the Vote deal. So if you haven't already made your reservation, you're running out of time. So you get one free day if you rent 2 or more days. Krispy Kreme, and I love me some Krispy Kreme. I haven't had it in quite some time, but if you put Krispy Kremes in front of me, kind of like pizza, it's going to get eaten. Krispy Kremes will give away a free original glazed donut, the best in the world. No proof of purchase or vote necessary.
Wait, what?
You don't have to prove that you voted, or you don't have to buy anything either. They'll just say, here's a free original glazed donut just because it's Election Day. But the chain will also be handing out the I voted stickers for those who did vote early or sent in their absentee ballot, just in case you want the sticker. Hopefully you actually voted and got the sticker. But this next one, Tuala, I might have to do. Johnny Rockets. You remember Johnny Rockets was on the cruise?
On the cruise.
I had about 12 of their cookies and cream milkshakes. I hadn't had milkshake in I don't know how many years. And they said they had a cookies and cream one. I was like, I'm going to try it. And I tried it. It was heavenly.
With booze in it?
You could get it with booze. I didn't get it with booze.
What's the best booze to mix with that?
Probably rum.
Not Bailey's?
I don't think that's going to mix. The cream and the milk, I don't know. Yeah, I think of it more like a pina colada. So I'm thinking rum would work.
Intriguing. I'd try that.
Yeah. Well, Johnny Rockets is offering customers one free shake with an in-store purchase on Election Day. Guests must prove they cast a vote, such as an I voted sticker. That doesn't prove anything. It's just a sticker you put on you. And I just told you,
giving those away for free.
Right. I'm going to go to Krispy Kreme, get my free donut and my free sticker, and then go over to Johnny Rockets and then buy something and get a free milkshake.
Yeah, but Johnny Rockets is the one playing hardball.
Yeah, they are.
Do they have a way of checking this?
It just says guests must prove that they cast a vote.
You have to take a polygraph to get your shake.
But they're accepting an I voted sticker, which proves nothing. Look, if you have a mail-in ballot, there's a I voted sticker in the mail-in ballot. I could throw away the ballot and just stick the sticker on me and walk to Johnny Rockets. Give me my cookies and cream milkshake.
Honor system.
There's Round Table Pizza, and they're offering $6 off a large or extra large pizza for dine-in, carry-out, or delivery.
We may need to get some pizza tomorrow night. That's what I'm hearing.
No, we're definitely going to get some food because it's going to be a long-ass night.
Yeah.
It starts for me tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.
Ooh.
Well, I'll be on with Spectrum.
Yeah.
I'll be doing Spectrum News tomorrow morning and Wednesday morning at 7:30 in the morning. That's about my hit time. So it should be around 7:30. And then after that, it just doesn't stop. I'll be doing hits and election stuff for the next 48 hours.
Oh, why don't you help some Amish people raise a barn as long as you're going to be up that early? What's wrong with you?
Look, I asked for this. You know, you talk politics. Someone may ask you to come on. True story. I was supposed to do commentary for NBC, KTLA, and CNN. Number one, can't. I'm exclusive to Spectrum. And number two, I'm doing election coverage here from 6 to 11 p.m. And there's no place I'd rather be.
Right here with us. You hear that, Foosh?
Hey, how long are you working tomorrow night, Stefan?
I'm my normal shift, but I'm here till 11.
Okay. Oh, we're definitely getting food tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know Mark is going to be
Your
here.
normal shift is not till 11, good sir.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not normally till 11, but now tomorrow I'm going to have to stay till 11.
Good job calling him out on that.
Yeah, so we're all going to be here late and well fed. We're not going to be hungry. We're definitely going to be getting some pizza. I think pizza is the right choice.
Yes.
So maybe we should call Round Table and say, hey, give us our pizza. Is there a Round Table near here? I don't know
I
if
was
there
just
is.
going to say, I don't know if there's one near us.
I think there's one in Burbank. While you're going over these freebies, let me look it up. Okay. We got to get that $6.
Okay, I know there is an IKEA in Burbank, and they will offer a free frozen yogurt tomorrow.
No meatballs? Come on.
That's what I thought. That's the low-hanging fruit. You would think they offer the meatballs because that's what the people want. Give the people what they want. We want meatballs. I've never gone to IKEA for a frozen yogurt.
No.
I always want the Swedish meatballs. And there are your election day freebies, which are available to you from Uber and Lyft to Round Table Pizza to Johnny Rockets and Krispy Kreme. And, of course, IKEA. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And when we come back, we have to talk about polling, what it's meant to do, what it fails at doing, and why most people get it wrong when it comes to interpreting polling.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI Mo Kelly live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Polling. Everybody has something to say about polling, how it's right, how it's wrong, how it's accurate, how it's inaccurate, how it's a predictor, how it's going to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow. All of it's right, all of it's wrong. What I mean by that is polling does play a role in giving us a sense of what may be on some people's minds. But if you didn't take statistics back in college, you may place more emphasis and importance on them than they really do. And what I mean by that is they're only going to give you a snapshot, and it's only for likely voters. You know what that is? They may or may not vote. They may or may not vote. It's almost like Tawala asking me, hey, what are you going to do this weekend? Well, I may go to the movies. I'll likely go to the movies. Doesn't mean I will. I may get busy. I may end up having a better offer. You know what I mean? So I end up not going to the movies. There are a lot of people who will have the best of intentions who will not vote tomorrow, who may tell all their friends that they plan to vote and they end up not voting. Because why? It's the right thing to tell people. If someone says to you, hey, are you voting tomorrow? And I say, nah, I'm not going to vote. It's all rigged and everything. You're setting yourself up for a 25, 30-minute conversation that you maybe don't want to have. You don't want to have to explain or be shamed into voting. I have a lot of friends who are like that. A lot. And if they were polled, to give an example, they will tell the pollster what they think the pollster wants to hear. And with polls, it depends on how the questions are crafted. It depends on the sample. It depends on the sample size. And yes, I know there's margin of error and all that. All I'm saying is I personally do not put any stock in polls. If only because you can have 4 polls of the same general area, depending on the organization, depending on their sampling method, depending on the questions in which they're asked, and you'll have a wide variety of results. And you can use the state of Iowa for an example. You may have 3 polls which show that among likely voters, Donald Trump will carry the state. And then you had a poll which came out over the weekend that showed Kamala Harris winning the support of 47% of voters compared to 44% of Donald Trump. What does that mean? Who the hell knows? And I use this example all the time. If you asked me at 2:00 today whether I was hungry, I would tell you yes. If you asked me at 4:30, I would tell you no, because I've had something to eat in between time. It's kind of like that with polling. It depends on when you catch people. It depends on their mood. It depends on whether they're trying to be honest. Now, polling is so complicated and so important to the overall process. Most people are savvy enough to know that they can influence a poll, because you're not talking about tens of thousands of people who are being sampled. You're only talking about a few thousand. And if you have enough savvy people, then you can influence what that poll is going to ultimately reveal or say or put out there in the media cycle. And that impacts the perception of the race. But it's not real. It's not real. Even exit polls. And you'll hear a lot about that tomorrow. What are exit polls? Well, it's what they seem to be. Someone is leaving the voting booth and there's someone with a microphone from a news agency, be it local or cable, and they'll ask, so who did you vote for? What did you vote on? They may or may not tell the truth. That is an exit poll. And they will put all that information together and to say the exit polls say that Measure G passed in LA. And then you get the actual returns. It's like, whoa, what happened? It's completely different because people lie. People especially are more prone to lie when there's a microphone in their face, or they believe that they have an outsized level of importance that they just say what they think the pollster wants to hear. You have people now who are very, very savvy. And it's like, oh, this is Gallup. Okay, let me say this. Oh, this is Rasmussen. Oh, they're right-leaning, so I know what they want. It happens all the time. I've worked on enough campaigns and been in political circles enough where polls can and are manipulated. Maybe not on a huge level, but enough to swing a percentage point here or there and influence the media coverage. And polls directly impact donors. If they feel that you're gaining in the polls or doing better, then you're a better sell to potential donors, especially big ticket donors. And they use polls to court donors. It all is pretty incestuous and dirty when you think about it, but that's how it works. That's why I don't personally, professionally, politically put a lot of stock in polls. It's not really predictive. It's not determinative. For every poll that you show me that Kamala Harris is winning, I can show you a poll which shows that she's losing. And if you're not really paying attention, you may be looking at a national poll. Mo, what's a national poll? A national poll is when you're basically just asking voters anywhere, just likely voters. And it's what I call a smooth distribution. It's across the United States. Well, we don't have a popular vote determination of president. So it doesn't matter if Kamala Harris is leading, and she is in the national polls. You can't see my air quotes because we vote state by state, and it's an electoral college, and those electoral college votes will be given out state by state, not a popular vote. So when you see a national poll, I just completely turn that off because it doesn't mean anything. We don't have a national vote. We have a state by state vote. So you're almost tricking yourself into thinking, well, this national poll says this, so it's trending towards that result. No, it doesn't work that way. That goes back to the whole statistics thing. And I was not very good at statistics. Hey, Mark, did you have to take stats in college?
No, I was registered as a psych major, and when I found out all the math that was involved, I changed immediately.
Let me tell you how hard statistics is. When I was in school, many, many moons ago, our professors, plural, said it's an open book test. You can use whatever you can find in the book to answer the questions. And motherfathers were failing left and right.
Yeah, when they tell you can go ahead and look at whatever you want to, it's going to be hard.
It was almost impossible to cheat with the exception of working with someone in the class next to you. You could use a calculator back when, because back then we had scientific calculators.
Abacus.
Did not matter.
No.
Book, whatever. That's how hard. If I'd never seen another Poisson or an ANOVA or standard deviation.
Anova? What did you say?
ANOVA. ANOVA.
That's how little I know.
Yeah. I mean, mean, median, whatever. All that stuff. I still get nightmares from it.
Oh, yeah. That stuff's miserable. That's the side of my brain that doesn't work.
Yeah. And I'm not real big on math. That was like the last math class I actually took in life. It was statistics, a whole year of statistics, and business calculus. Worst years of my life.
Oh, yeah. In high school, I had to take like moron algebra for idiots because I couldn't connect with any of that stuff.
Now, I don't know if I'm an absolute genius or I'm an idiot because for my high school, I know we got to go to break. Trigonometry was not a requirement for graduation. So I never took trig in high school. I jumped straight from algebra to calculus in college with no trig in between. Now, either I'm one of the smartest motherfathers alive or I'm one of the dumbest ones alive.
I'm going with masochist. That is the answer, masochist.
Because it's all like, just imagine you're skipping over a really important math portion to doing calculus. And I did it. And I suffered for it.
You're making me suffer right now.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
Full bandwidth stimulation.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.